on, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. This is our weekly show where we just kicking it, or as I like to say, we just nicking it, talking about the storylines as they relate to our New York Knicks over the past week. The Knicks won a huge Game 5 to not even a series, but now it's 2-3. Game 6 in Miami tomorrow. Friday, you know, a big game for the Knicks, obviously. I do wonder if the Knicks have figured out a way to beat Miami, or at least figured out what it's going to take to beat them. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Julius Randle getting his second All-NBA nod, the second of his career, both of them with the New York Knicks. So we'll give him his flowers as well. Let me just welcome in the panel. Jarrell, Jeff, Ajay, Jay Boogie. For those who don't know, Jay Boogie did the intro song, so it's always good to have him in the house, and he'll talk more about it, dropping that album, you know, on Sunday. How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah, peace, salute.
Good.
Salute to everybody in chat, man.
Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Blessings to the panel. I'm feeling great. I hope everybody else is.
We are, man. We live to see another game. We live to fight some more. So.
Yeah. Johnson.
Yeah.
I staying alive.
Steph, yeah. I told you I was gonna wear all black if we lost.
You did say that.
Color on today. I got that color on though. You know, you good.
You did say that. Listen, let's get right into it. Your thoughts on Game 5. Who or what stood out for you in that game? Shout out to the chat also. Appreciate you.
Yeah, salute to the chat, man. I go first real quick. You already know what my answer is going to be. My point guard showed up. 48 minutes. Jalen Brunson. He played all world, man. Like, he only had one turnover. That was it for me. Like 48 minutes, just one turnover. What do you have? 38?
9 and 7.
9 and 7, man. That's Jalen Brunson, man. That's our leader. That's our quarterback. I just say, you know, I'm a football guy. Yeah, that's it. It was just Jalen Brunson for me. Like everybody else, don't get me wrong, they play hard. It was a lot more effort, a lot more determination. Mitch, he had like a shaky first half. I was mad at Mitch in the first half. I was calling him a bum and everything. I was cursing him out on my TV, but all of a sudden, the second half came out, and yeah, Mitch played very, very well in the second half. Hit some free throws late when they tried to do this stupid fake hacker Mitch, and it failed, and we got the victory. We survived on the Game 6.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Jeff.
You know, maybe I'm taking delusional's place tonight, but I saw a pathway forward for this team. I saw a formula that I don't necessarily think I saw in any of the first 4 games. It looks to me like if we can speed this team up, if we can play with pace and not let them set their defense, where they're so tough in the half court. And I'm not saying have a track meet where you're doing layups all the time, but just get them where they're not able to set their rotations as crisply. And you make those guys like Lowry just run up and down the floor and hustle for extended minutes. Like the start of that second quarter, we were so crisp. And a lot of it had to do with Obi Toppin, whose stats weren't that great, except for 6 boards, which for him is like all world in 12 minutes or whatever he played. I don't know what it was, but the way that we were able to push the pace, get into some easy offense, get going downhill.
Right.
And that bothered Miami like crazy. And even in the third quarter, when we got up 19, I felt like we were doing the same thing. It was only in the fourth quarter, and the difference in the fourth quarter is Miami started hitting shots. And it's tough to push the pace when you're just throwing the ball in out of bounds. So part and parcel of that is playing great defense, get the stop, get the defensive rebound. But once we did that, and we weren't just walking the ball up the court, letting them get set up, but just going at them and attacking them. And it looked to me like there were cracks in that Miami armor that I didn't see all series long. So to me, that's a recipe that's repeatable, because I don't think Miami shot like ridiculous, like 45% to beat Milwaukee. And they shot pretty well for most of the first part of this series. Last game, they were down to 30% from 3, which if that's just a regression to the mean for their 3-point shooters, that gives us a clear path forward to maybe steal this game 6. And monster size, Julius Randle size, but if this thing gets back to Madison Square Garden, we got as good a shot as anybody.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And actually, I don't know if you saw this, Jeff, because it sounds like you said the same thing that Brian Windhorst said. And he said that the reason Miami is the 8th seed is because they could not get regular season, that they're shooting above their heads. They shot above their heads, I should say, in the Milwaukee series. They're shooting above their heads the first part of this series, and that there could be some regression to the mean. But my question, when you guys, I'll ask this question as well, and you guys, if you want to, when you talk about Game 5, you can ask this. The Knicks also is shooting. They're not a great shooting team as it is, but they've been shooting worse than they did in the regular season against Cleveland and against Miami. So I'm hoping that we get back to, shooting the way we've shot. Wasn't great, but definitely better than what we're seeing.
They're progressing to the mean.
Right. Exactly. Ajay, then we get to Jay Boogie. Just your thoughts on Game 5. Who or what stood out for you?
Well, salute Queen, the panel. I always like to say, hello to Knicks Nation. But before I start, Queen, I want to bring everybody's attention to the video that Sim put out about Dirty Bam. How he's been playing dirty this whole series, right? So if anybody out there, just share this thing on your social media. Let everybody know, let's hope this thing get to somebody that with some sort of power in the NBA or the Referees Association, and look at these, how is he getting away with these things? I mean, these guys, they out there purposely trying to hurt people. Okay, so what I'm saying is share this with everybody and let's blow this thing out of proportion so that not blow it out of proportion, but let's put it out there. Hopefully somebody will see it and pick up the story. So Game 5, of course, Jalen Brunson. I mean, Jalen Brunson gave you 48 minutes. It wasn't just 48 minutes of just a dead body out there. It was 48 productive minutes where not only he's producing, but he's getting everybody else involved. He's fighting, he's taking a beating, and he's leading the charge. He did not want to go home yesterday, and it showed. And if the rest of the team follow his lead, we're going to be in a good place. We're going to be in a very good place. So yes, Jalen Brunson stood out yesterday. And on the positive.
And let me just get to the super chat before I get to Jay Boogie. Shout out to Gail Barry. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Steph. Love your shows and your crew. Yeah, I love the crew too, man. Listen, you can't grow a channel without your panel. Oh wow, I didn't
That's
mean
a
for
bomb.
that to
Y'all ain't
rise.
jacking that. That's a bomb jacking that.
Oh Lord, Steph got balls.
Didn't mean it. It just came out that way.
Yeah, I'm taking that. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Okay.
I'm
I don't
free.
care what nobody says. You cannot grow your channel without a panel, especially if you're doing live shows. You know,
Right.
Jarrell has been here by my side from the beginning. You know, Ajay came on. He's been a regular. Jeff then snuck up in here. Now he a regular. And, you know, Jay Boogie comes through when he can. This is how you build a channel with people like this. And all we are Knick fans giving our opinion. None of us are professionals. You know, we just fans giving our opinion, you know, on our Knicks.
And Queen, may I say, we also encourage people to share their opinion. You know, if it's,
Right.
you know, it's even better when it's the opposite opinion, because it
Right.
creates an argument. It creates a back and forth or a discussion, not an argument, but a discussion. And that's what
Right.
we want.
And real quick, salute to Tsunami and Stafford Don too.
Stafford Don.
Definitely.
They'll be on here a lot more if they could.
Yes, no doubt about it. Yeah, I've been remiss. Stafford, you already know. Tsunami, you already know.
Man, we're
Word.
Stafford Don.
Stafford on.
Boogie, what stood out for you, or who stood out for you in Game 5?
First thing first, I just want to shout out to everybody. Blessings, health, and happiness to everybody. Hope everybody's in the greatest form of health. If there's anything that you're going through, we don't pray that you just go through it. We also pray that you get through it and let you know that we're all on your side. And real quick, you know, when the podcast is be having these events, inviting you out, you know what I'm saying? That is a chance to get around and meet these people. You know, all these podcast people I know of and I've been around, and even some in the ones that's in the chat that don't have a podcast are great people. So like Steph saying, you know, it takes a great panel, you know what I'm saying, to run a channel, but also being a great person allows other people to want to be around other great people. And that's all that's up under the orange and blue umbrella is a bunch of great people together enjoying the love of our team, and you know what I'm saying, and having our opinions and just being happy together when the day is over with. So I just wanted to share that, you know, just let you know that you're a great person, Stat, along with everybody else here, everybody else that's this orange and blue orange and blue love that we got for the Knicks. What stood out for me, you know, I'm not gonna jump off the train. I'm gonna stay with Jalen Brunson because he's setting the tone in so many ways. But I'm gonna go along with that 48 and the tone that he's setting. Hold up. You know, let's make this 48 minutes until, you know what I'm saying, 96 minutes, because you're not going to leave me out here. So he's setting the tone and things is rubbing off. I love the fact that he's bringing along and people willing to go. I'm talking about Grimes. Grimes did the same thing that he did. Didn't miss a beat. Then he didn't leave him out there. I'm out here with you. I'm fighting with you. I'm going all the way out with you. You know what I'm saying? So I love the fact how Jalen, he's leading the way. I love the fact that the guys on the team are okay and they're allowing him to lead the way. That plays a good part too. You know, I heard of Julius speaking of that about JB doing this thing and everything, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool for him to lead the way. But, you know, to be a great leader, people have to want to follow you, and the team is following his leadership. So that's a great thing. But Jalen Brunson is setting the tone all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy, you want to front and act like you can play a whole game? Okay, let me see you do it, my brother, because I already did it. He don't set a tone to Jimmy to make Jimmy jump out of his body and his character to try to do something that he can't do. And he know Brunson is not coming out that game. So, you know, Jimmy gonna try to do things, you know what I'm saying, that he ain't been doing. So I like what Brunson is doing. He's just playing these games with these people, and I like the position that we in. But everybody had a foot on this victory in Game 5. Everybody had a part that they played. It was a really good crucial part, from the coaching to the big man to the bench play, even with Obi coming in, the RJ doing what he doing, the Julius fighting off, you know what I'm saying, the eye jammy getting back in the second half, man. You know, everybody just playing their parts, you know, and just coming together and understand this is it. We're gonna leave it out on the floor. So yeah, I like the leadership that Jalen is doing, but I like even more how the team is cool and allowing, you know what I'm saying, him to lead, and so we can follow right behind you as you being our floor general. So that's great, man. Great win for number 5, you know what I'm saying? But we're not going to stop there. We're not done. Get ready to go over here, hop out this 5 and jump in this 6 and come back to the 7, bring it back to the land of the Knicks. We back in our building, you know what I'm saying? Monday, one day after the Earth say it's Mother's Day, because if you're a mother, you've been a mother every day.
Right. No doubt. I'm not going to speak more on Brunson. I think, the 4 of you have said it, said it all. I don't really have anything to add to that. What stood out for me was just the heart of this team, because that was one of the things that was being questioned. Is this moment too big for them? Not just is Miami a better team, but is the lights too bright for the Knicks? They just don't seem like the Knicks that we've watched throughout this regular season. And last night they looked like that. They had that fight in them. They went down 10, no problem. Came back like we've seen them do in the regular season. Like, all right, this is the team that I know. Miami, cut the lead a few times. The Knicks hit the timely shots, the big shots, to make sure that they didn't lose the game. And that's what you need. And that looked like my Knicks. And the Knicks were physical as well. They went to the line 40 times. 40. Now, the officials finally getting hip to what's going on and made the calls. But the Knicks were playing aggressive themselves. That stood out. That stood out for me. Tom Thibodeau not doubling Jimmy Butler. I get what he did in Milwaukee, and they didn't double him. So you're gonna start doubling him right from the 9. You got to show me. You got to earn the double team. And so Tibbs coming off that double team and allowing Grimes to just play him one-on-one, and Grimes was just in his defensive bag yesterday. Just how he was able to navigate those screens and get over those screens and, take a step back, let the screener go through, and boop, boop, 2 steps, right back on, he right back on Jimmy Butler. Like, that was a clinic, right there. So, that stood out for me. And RJ Barrett just continuing to be steady Eddie. And then the last thing I'll say, and this is to me the difference in the series, is this is a shot making league. The bottom line, the games in which the Knicks made shots, they won.
Yes.
The games in which Miami made the shots, they won. So if we get the same Knicks team, listen, Miami wants to pack it in the paint. It's going to take more than one person hitting threes. That's not going to be enough for them to come out of what they're doing. But if you got Brunson hitting threes, you got Barrett hitting threes, you got Grimes hitting threes, you got Brunson and Randle, they got to come out. They got to come out, and then that's going to open up the space for us. So it's a lot of good things that came out of the game last night. But I'll ask specifically, why do you think the Knicks won last night? Like, what was different about last night? Yeah. In your opinion, what was the difference? Why do you think the Knicks won last night?
Well, I've been saying it for the past couple of games. Give effort, make shots, win the game. I've been tweeting that. I've been saying it in every chat. And I think that's exactly what we did last game. Like, the effort was there. We made a couple more shots. We closed the game. And I think as long as we do that, I think we'll be good. The times that we have lost to Miami, none of that stuff happened. Like, I know we're not going to be able to close the game. We got to get the first 2 first. But, yeah, as long as we get effort and make shots, like if 5 minutes left, give the ball to Brunson, I think we can close and get to game 7.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get 40 free throws, though, in Miami. But whatever we get, we got to make them count. We missed 11 of them. That's way too many.
Right.
Well, Queen, I mean, if the refs call it right, and we've been getting the short end of the stick on that free throw stuff, that the whole series, even when the free throws are even, if they're even, that means Miami probably committed 10 more fouls than we did. We should have had 10 more free throws. Them being even doesn't mean that they call it right. That just means, they came up short somehow. And if they call it right, we'll be fine. I think that's the biggest thing with us. Like, if it's a fair game, I think we have what it takes to beat that team. So hopefully it's a
But
fair game.
two, Miami set themselves up for that free throw differential too, because all your decisions have consequences, right? When you choose to hack a Mitch, you get yourself in the penalty. And then what happens on a rebound, a loose ball, Jimmy Butler picks up a foul, and RJ Barrett's going to the line for 2. If you don't hack a Mitch and you just play straight up defense, whatever the Knicks do on that possession, you have that loose ball foul, the Knicks are just bringing it up out of bounds. So I would say that free throw disparity, at least 10 of those were a direct result of Spoelstra's decision. And I'm not saying it was the wrong decision to foul Mitch. I mean, he made 4 of 8 and we're celebrating like he won the championship, and he's my guy. But what I'm saying is that you make those choices and sometimes they have ancillary consequences. They have unintended consequences. And I think that was one of the things. And not only that, but did you see the look of disgust and despair on the Miami bench from the coaches when that boy sat up there and made both of them? They were like, oh, what did we just do? And then like I said, there were loose ball fouls that got us the line 4 more times, and they gave Mitch 6. Well, that's 10 of your free throws disparity right there. And if you take that away, it's like, 30-24, which is about what it's been the entire series anyway.
Right. That's a good point. They put themselves in the penalty early by certain decisions and fouls that they made. That's a good point. Any other thoughts on why you think we won Game 5?
Oh, real quick. I just want to tell Eric, thank you for the timeouts. Thank you for giving, Brunson an extra chance to get some rest. Thank you for giving Grimes an extra chance to get some rest. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I looked at it. You giving our guys some timeouts while you want to play hack a shack, on our guy. It backfired. Not only did he make 3 of the 4, you know what I'm saying, but it allowed Brunson to have that enough wind to get that burst on the sideline when they was trying to call that backcourt violation. See, some things, you know what I'm saying, you got to appreciate, and you don't have to always have a timeout on the sideline to have a timeout on the court. So, I appreciated that. But one thing about the Knicks, they found a whole lot. I can't say from going in 3 in Game 4, the big thing is we're not making shots. So they concentrated so much on making shots in Game 4, in which they did a good job making a lot of their shots, getting their percentage up. But they forgot how to play basketball. They forgot about the hustle, the efforts, you know what I'm saying, the boxing out, the talking to one another. That's how they gave up them 7 offensive rebounds in the 4th quarter, and we lost that game. But, come back to Game 5, they realized, okay, now we can make some shots from time to time, but let's continue on doing the thing. We got to secure that ball. So they secured the ball. It was a lot of one and outs from Miami, you know what I'm saying, in that game, in Game number 5. So that's what they got to continue on doing. Don't just look for one thing of your game to develop, you know what I'm saying, or realize what you're missing. Make sure you bring your whole package out there. Every part of basketball counts, diving on the floor, whatever, taking a charge. I seen a few times charges could have got took. Julius was in place, Grimes was in place, and y'all no, take them charges. That's basketball. Brunson can do it. Y'all can do it. So yeah, all the effort things, you got to be willing to lay it out on the floor come tomorrow, Friday. All eyes is on us. It's up to us. They have not beat us yet. I still say we giving them this series the whole time. Don't give them the game, Way to hold home court. We didn't do the Atlanta thing. We didn't lose it on our court. Now we give ourselves another chance. Go to it and do what you got to do. But yeah, I think the Knicks is we're in a great position. Great position.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about the hustle plays, because that's something that I saw through the first 4 games. Not diving on the floor, trying to just bend over and pick up the ball. We have it in our hands. They just come take it out. Just take it out. It's like, what's going on? Not taking charges, or if you're not going to take a charge, particularly, we talked about this on the morning show with Bam on that pick and roll coming down the middle. Randle, if you don't want to take a charge, a hard foul is in order.
Mhm.
Send
Yeah.
him to the line. He's a good foul shooter. That's okay. You're going to have to earn it, buddy. And I'm giving you an opportunity. And you punched me in my eye. So this is a legal basketball way of giving you a hard one just to send that message that it's not going to be easy down here, and to make you think twice the next time y'all run this play about whether you want to roll to the middle. And I just think that there were multiple opportunities to do that throughout not just game 5, but throughout this series. So I'm hoping the Knicks have figured that out. What is it going to take? We'll talk more about this later. What is it going to take to beat this team? I'm hoping they figured something out from game 5.
Queen, I think they're gonna need to throw a little dirt, play a little dirty, just like those guys are playing dirt. Just put a little dirt on there.
Yeah, we start talking about it a little earlier. I was figure we would have a whole how to beat up Bam section later on in the
Listen,
show.
no, I think we can still have that. I think we should.
Okay, yeah.
I think we should later on in the show. We gotta figure out how to beat up Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, I'm diving on Bam if I'm one of them. soon as I told Ron, salute to Ron. Hey Ron, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I was in the chat on Ron's show, and I said I would jump on Bam soon as the ball is in the air.
Remember,
somebody got to do that. Somebody has to take the hit. I don't know who it is, but somebody gonna have to put Bam on the ground.
Listen,
at least once.
Daquan Jeffries got 6 fouls over there on the bench, man. I'm bringing him in, elbow Bam. I don't know, trip him, do something. I'm playing dirty. I'm throwing a little bit of dirt in there.
Just a little bit. No, I mean, we gotta get home, man. I'm trying to get home.
Just set the tone. Let them know it's not tonight. It's a fight. We're gonna do something else besides just play basketball. You have to earn this one right here, because we're trying to take it. It's either Miami gonna earn this game or we're gonna take the game. One of them two things has got to happen. And the Knicks have to be willing to take this game inside their building. They have to be willing to do that. And it's 48 minutes of basketball. Soon as that tip-off go off, everybody needs to be zoned in, tuned in, and willing to do whatever it takes on the floor. But I know when this game is over, I don't want nobody looking at me saying I didn't give my all. I don't want nobody saying I didn't play to my best. I don't want nobody saying I wasn't there for my teammate. I want everybody to be like, yeah, they did what they did. They did what they were supposed to do. That's all. Just fight, team.
Yeah, don't leave anything on the floor.
Jay Boogie, I want to add, I don't want nobody saying they wanted it more.
Right.
I
don't want to hear that.
Or I should have gave more energy and effort. Not after the fact. Don't say that.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt. But getting back to the question, and Ron, you can answer it if you want. Why do you think the Knicks won Game 5? Like, what was the difference in your mind in Game 5?
Oh, that's simple. They listened to me. I laid out a blueprint of what they needed to. Hey, thank you. I'm here tomorrow. I'll be here on anyway. Yeah, I think that so did you guys hear? This came after. I didn't know about this. And shout out to Comega in the chat, Quiet Money, Mega NYK. I see y'all. Appreciate y'all. Did y'all hear that Ian Begley reported that there was a little shouting match going back and forth between Julius Randle and the coaching staff or something like that?
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah, apparently Ian Begley said there was some heated stuff happening. It might have been after Julius. No, after the game.
After the game. Okay.
And I don't know if it's I don't know if it was after the game immediately or after the game and after Julius's press conference when he said maybe they wanted it more. Like, I don't know when it happened.
Okay.
But I'm if I was guessing, I would say maybe after that, maybe the Knicks didn't like the fact that he said that. That's not the type of presentation we want people out there to look at our team as, I don't know, but whatever. I think that's interesting. I don't know what's going on internally with this team, what we got happening. But it's interesting that they definitely there's some passion there. So I think by osmosis that might have lit a fire under certain players in the team, and definitely Julius is. I don't know what to say about Julius, but I like how he played in the game. I think that helped us. I think his confidence level started to finally build, because if you think about it, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the best Julius has shot in the playoffs. Now, it may not be numbers wise, like overall, but as far as actually shooting a shot, I think this is the best he's looked in the playoffs. I think he felt the most comfortable in this past game. The other guys were knocking down shots. Brunson, he was incredible. And I think it was the 50-50 balls. A lot of those balls were going to Miami in the last game and for most of the series. In this game, the Knicks got some of them. So I think that helped out a lot, tremendously. And as Steph always says, you got to hit timely baskets. The Knicks got back to hitting timely baskets. Brunson was in his bag, so that helped. Yeah, and I think shout out to Tibbs too, man, because listen, Josh Hart was in foul trouble, but he could have put Josh Hart back in the game, and for whatever reason, he kept him out there. He kept him on the bench because he's like, you don't necessarily got it right now. So
he tried though.
Yeah,
he tried.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just want to say everybody played a better style of game, last night. But I will say one thing: they got to clean up them turnovers, and they also got to limit all those open shots that Miami was taking, because Miami could have won that game easy. If Miami hits a third of those shots, they win. If they hit half those shots, they win. So, I mean, like, I don't know. There's something I'm worried about.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But that's the real Miami, though. When you think about in the regular season, we talked about this earlier. Jeff brought it up. Brian Windhurst, brought it up, that they've been shooting above their heads in the Milwaukee series and the early part of the Knicks series. Maybe this is just them coming back down to earth, which I hope. And our shooting, we're not a great shooting team, as I mentioned earlier, but we're not this bad. Maybe we're on our way up, as far as hitting perimeter shots. I really hope so. What's your thoughts, just going back to game 5? And I talked about this on the morning show. Sherwin, I don't know if Sherwin is in the chat, gave me a little pushback. I don't like the Randle Bam ISOs. Like, I just feel like, it's just a waste. I just feel like Bam is just a really good perimeter defender. I don't really see where Randle has any advantage one-on-one against Bam. But Sherman brought up the fact that it potentially gets him in foul trouble. What's your thoughts been on the Bam Randle ISO? And I bring this up because I thought Randle really shined when we got him in motion. Right. I thought he really shined when he gave up a few 2-pointers and drove to the basket. I'm like, all right, I think that kind of really helped him get into his groove. But just your thoughts on the Randle Bam matchup, period.
I'll be real quick. I don't like the ISO. I don't think it serves us really. Bam is one of the best defenders in the league, and so far it hasn't gotten him in foul trouble at all. If anything, he's even more aggressive, because Julius hasn't really played well this series. Like, it would be like if Julius was himself, like he played in the regular season, might be a different story. But like, since he's had a bad series, he's not giving Bam in foul trouble. Like, him playing ISO hasn't served us well at all. Like, I think you're right. Like, keep him in motion. As long as he stays aggressive and goes to the basket, it doesn't have to be in an ISO situation. We just need an aggressive Julius Randle, period.
If you saw in the first quarter of that game, Randle started off 1 for 7. He hit that first 3-pointer right out the box, and then he was 0 for 6 going at Bam just to support your point. And then it's ironic because literally, if you do a pick and roll and you get a switch of any other guy on the floor guarding him, I think it's a matchup advantage. If it's him against Kevin Love, I'm good with that.
Right.
If it's him against Kyle Lowry, even, I'm good with that. If it's him against Jimmy Butler, I'm even good with that.
Yep.
But
not
Bam. Anything but that. And it's kind of funny. It's like listening to y'all, it's like physics class. Julius Randle is the object at rest that stays at rest. And when he's the object in motion, he stays in motion.
Funny.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I forgot. No offense, guys. You know, sometimes I be tripping. I'm shouting out the chat. I forgot. Shout out to Jeff, Ad JJ Boogie, I am Jarrell, and Steph the Queen. You know how it is.
Thank you.
All right, continue.
Yeah. Appreciate you. I'm just not big on it. You know, listen. Against Jimmy Butler, he did well last night. Now I don't know if that's because he already saw a few buckets go down, so he felt really good about himself. That could be part of it, but I don't think Jimmy Butler can hold Randle. Listen, when Randle is Randle, he can give Bam the business.
Yeah, if Randle is Randle, it's a different story.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Ask yourself though, why did Spoelstra put Jimmy Butler on Randle? Like that's kind of a
I think Bam
a
was out the game at the time, if I remember correctly. I don't think Bam was in the game.
And if Bam is not in the game, it would be Jimmy. Like, who else would do it?
You know, if Julius is not quick-minded and as soon as he touched the ball, it's really not hard to check Julius. And Julius allows people who you would think should not be able to check him, he allows them to be able to check him on how what he does with the ball. You know, he catches the ball, he pivoting, he's swinging the rock before even taking 3, 4, 5 dribbles. You know, so that's too much time with the ball. Julius has to be quick-minded. He done that a couple of times, and it looked good. If he catches the ball and he's quick decision to do what he got to do, Julius is a problem. And Julius has to believe and have confidence in his game. And when it's not there, it's okay to reset and cut and do something else. You know, when you talk about Bam, Bam is a little bit more. Bam is an elite defensive player. He's better checking Julius Randle than what Mobley and Allen could, because he can move off his feet. They don't have the feet to check Julius, but they're good at the rim and they're taller. But this guy, he can move his feet. He can deny you. He can make it hard for you, and he knows the game. He knows how to play. So you think he ain't over there talking to Udonis and talking to Lonzo Mourning? He got great people over there in their corners. And when you look at us, I mean, we don't have nobody, man. Othello Harrington, I need you to do more. Chewing the bubble. I need you to get in tune. I need you to figure out something to do amongst the team to help our big guys. We don't have that type of staff on the side. Now we got a great guard when we got Rick, because at the beginning of the season, I was wondering, like, is Rick gonna just continue to cater to his son? But then it switched over. He started rocking with all the guards. You know what I'm saying? So we have a guard guy, but we don't have a big man over there. We don't have no big man over there putting no work in for us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being fat. But Julius has to be. You know what I'm saying? He has to know. I am 2-time all defensive player. I am 2-time all-star. I am that guy. And I'm getting ready to do what I do. But he has to be quick, and want to do it, and ain't nobody going to get in Julius' way. I think Julius going to shock a lot of people tomorrow. I think he figured it out. Like Sis said, moving without the ball, catching the ball on the move, that helps. I think they found a lot of solutions, a lot of things that they can, carry over into Game 6, and the things that they're learning and realize they can do. go ahead and get comfortable with doing those things. Continue on doing those things and let those things work out for us on the team, and let the basketball guys take its course. You have to be comfortable and believe in the other things that you're doing. And that's what happened yesterday. When we took off in the second quarter, we got comfortable and realized, we can really do a lot of these things. And when we hit them in the mouth like that, it was so hard for them to get back. They used so much energy to get back. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we got. If they hit us, I believe in our team that we can always run them down. You know what I'm saying? Have a chance to catch back up. But I think when we hit them, it's more difficult for them. You know what I mean? Guys get to want to do it themselves. And that's what I like about Grimes. Grimes don't put Jimmy in a position to where he's think that this guy can check me. Okay, I'm going to show him. And he's going to go out there and try to prove to everybody that I'm that guy. And he's going to forget all about his teammates tomorrow. He's going to try to win this game by himself. I see it because this guy, you know what I'm saying? That was 27 points combined between Grimes and Jimmy. And Jimmy had 19. He had 8. I don't care about the 8 points Grimes had because he shut that dude down. He's been on a run for 25 points, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I love us tomorrow. I'm telling you, I love us.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But back to making quick decisions, I was saying, wow, we should do like a pick and roll with Winston and Randle, see if we can get the mismatch. But this is the thing, though. They're not switching. They're hedging and going back to the original man. And the thing with Julius, he does this all the damn time. Even when you get the mismatch, he'll hold the ball and allows Bam to be able to recover.
Yep.
Once you get, even if it's not a mismatch, even with the hedge and recover, there's a little space you got. If you could get the ball quick enough to take off, he'll hold it and let them, and let them reset. But to your point, Jay Boogie, I hope they found something with Randle yesterday, and I hope Randle feels much more confident in his abilities against Miami. And it always helps when you're hitting shots, and that loosens up the interior a little bit. Gerald, you was going to say something?
I was just going to say, I think Jay Boogie got a real good point that people miss out on. Like, out of all the Georgetown centers, we got Othello Harrington. They got Alonzo Mourning. We got Pat Ewing, like in Celebrity Row. But we got Othello Harrington on the bench. Dikembe Mutombo out there somewhere doing what he got to do. But we need somebody else to coach our big men. Definitely.
You know what? Just to jump on that as well. Yeah, I agree. But although I will say Othello Harrington was good down on the block. He was okay doing that stuff. But I don't get it either. And correct me if I'm wrong. If it's just me, or has Mitch's free throw shooting gotten worse? Isn't it supposed to improve every year? It's gotten worse. And he's shooting straight. He's shooting darts. So I don't know what's going on. But whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he came through with those 3 or 4, but you right. They like a straight line.
Yep, they're gonna do it again.
Just a little bit air. Just a little bit of air. Just a little bit underneath the shot.
Get some air from Obi. Obi got all the air balls over there. Get some air from Obi. Put a little under that and you'll be all right.
Oh man.
No thumb, no fingertips, no nothing. He just shoot with his wrist.
Yep, wrist ball.
Let me tell you. That Knick lineup.
Yeah, he thought it like a football.
Yeah,
he's going long, like straight.
No doubt about that. Knick lineup, especially when Josh Hart is in there, I call that the Bam Bam lineup. That's the rough and tough lineup. You ain't getting no finesse. You ain't getting.
Hey, you ain't lying.
Man, I kept saying to myself yesterday with Josh Hart, man, and we got to pay this dude because we don't gave up the pick. That's what I kept saying. I just like, we got it. We got to keep him because we don't give up the pick. He just looked like over the last 2 games, man. I mean, dude, listen, we don't care about your hair, your braids, your stylist, your grease, your comb, none of that. We didn't care about nowhere else. Man, we just need you to put that work in, man. He out there scared.
But
I don't know what it is with him.
you know what it is, Jay Boogie, though? And in fairness, I'm sorry, Steph. In fairness to Josh Hart, and only Josh Hart, chat. I feel like the refs have done the biggest disservice to him because his game is about heart.
You muted.
Ron, you
muted me, Ron.
Sorry,
I gotta my mic is fancy. I just wave my hand and it goes on mute. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Still Knicks fans problems.
Highfalutin mics, man.
Okay,
No, but no, I mean, like his game is all about heart, hustle, getting to those balls that other people are a little slow to get to, and putting his body out there. And like when that stuff that you've been touted for, especially since you've been a Knick, is not happening because the refs are calling you for all these fouls that, and some, maybe a couple of them he did do, whatever. But a lot of these fouls are bad calls or calls that you weren't making for Miami, but now you want to call on Hart. I think it's kind of got into his head a little bit, and it's taking away from his game. He's not giving us what we're used to getting from him. And listen, as I said before, guys, confidence is huge for these players. You see how it's affected Obi in the past. Quickly is dealing with confidence issues right now. Like that stuff, when it gets a little shaken, you'd be surprised that it takes its toll on these players, no matter how strong-willed or strong-minded you think they are. It happens.
Right. After the third one, Josh Hart was so mad he walked to the locker room. Remember?
Yeah.
Did you see? It looked like he was going to the exercise bike, and then he came back to see what the call was going to be, and then he went out. He said, "I'm out."
He was like, "I'm out."
He went to get some pizza.
He went to get some pizza.
Right. But that was one of the questions I had for the panel. What was up with him for the past 2 games? Do you think it was foul trouble or something else? I personally think it was the foul trouble. He listen, that call on the Jimmy Butler 3. First of all, he jumped up and he landed right in the spot that he left his feet in. He didn't move forward at all. He landed in that exact same spot. So when they're reviewing it, I said, okay, they're going to see that this is not a foul. Not only did they not reverse it, they upgraded it to a flagrant. I'm like, oh, I was like, what is going on? So I do think that, you're trying to play your game. You're trying to be aggressive. Anything you do, you're getting a call. You're out of rhythm because you're in for 3 minutes. You got to come out. You're in for another 2 minutes. You got to, you got to come out. To me, he's another one that I think in game 6, I'm expecting big things from him if he doesn't get into foul trouble. We already know what he can do. I'm not down on him. I just know that this can be a different series because he's that energy changer. Let me bring Sim in because Sim is the one who talked about this. One of the big reasons I was a proponent of Grimes going back, I was okay. I'm not going to say a proponent. I think that's too strong. I was okay with Grimes going back to the starting lineup was not because he's going to shoot the lights out and he's going to open everything up. It wasn't that. It was, as Sim said, put Grimes back, Josh Hart back on that bench. And then when he comes in, he kind of changes the energy of our bench and kind of lead the bench, which is, listen, even last night we won the game, but I think we were outscored from the bench 43-8. Now, obviously we only played 6 people, so it was kind of easy to get outplayed from the bench, right? That's what he does for us. But I just felt like the fouls have kind of handicapped him, and he's not able to in these past 2 games give us the energy, that change of pace that he usually gives us. But I think in game 6, if the officials, are, as Ajay would say, just call it even, I think I'm expecting a big game for him. Sim, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering because I'm hearing you low, but it's probably
a little echo. To be honest, it don't sound the same.
a little bit of an echo, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They do sound
Yeah.
different.
You hear me low, Sim? Because that's what people have been saying since I've been down here. That I
No,
sound
no,
low.
you good, Steph.
No,
You
I
sound
hear
like
everybody.
Today? I'm
yeah.
good today? Okay,
You was low the other day, Steph, but you was perfect today, though.
I'm good. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing
Yeah, and I don't know if
it's
it's more of a if it's an echo or more like a reverb.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh boy, look at the audio
Yeah.
file.
I
People.
told you. You see what I'm saying? You got the high
Oh,
polluting
it's
mic. You
the
think you know everything about it.
Reverb.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Not even
better?
11 o'clock
Yeah,
yet, Drew.
it's
Yeah.
You can hear me better?
throwing the
Yeah.
bass, throwing the bass.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
Do you still hear
That Barry
reverb?
White's starting to come in.
Yeah,
It's still a
exactly.
little, it's still a
Hold
little
on one
different, but
second.
I hear you though. It's still a little different than usual, but
Do you still hear reverb?
kind of
You do
A little
still?
bit.
No,
a
there's
little
no.
bit.
It's slight. Like
I might have
if
to
you're
go
not
out- I might
trained
have
to
go out-
understand what you're
I might
listening
have
to, you
go
don't
out
hear
and
it.
come
But
back, right?
Yeah, I think me and Ron hear it. For some
Yeah, I don't hear anything. It sounds
I don't hear.
good.
I don't hear it.
I'm gonna
I
try to
love
go
I
out
love
and come back.
R&B music. All
Yeah,
right,
I
all
can
right.
barely hear you guys.
Word.
I think it's on my end.
Yeah,
Yeah, so something is wrong
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
we'll be here.
He turned that bass up. He sounded like Barry White.
Practice
But-
what you
but-
preach.
But Queen, going back to what you were saying, I don't. The refs are not going to call a fair game. We have to find a way to win, despite the bad calls. That's what we did yesterday. We have to find a way. So yesterday we won by 7 points, or I don't know, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
If they nine, that should have been a blowout.
112, 103.
Well, okay, by 9 points, that should have been a blowout because if they call it right, trust me, we're gonna be in a good place.
Hmm.
But they're not gonna call it right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
I know you. I don't want to cut you off, Steph, but I just wanted to let you guys notice because I don't know if you saw. The Knicks got some bulletin board material, so hopefully they can use that, give them a little bit more spirit and will going into tomorrow night's game. They asked Jimmy Butler. They asked Jimmy Butler about playing 48 minutes if Spoelstra asked him to play. And he said, yeah, if Spo asked me to play 48 minutes, I'll be booted and suited and we'll win.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now we should put a hit on Jimmy and Bam. How about that?
There you go.
How about that?
There you
Where's
go.
Tony Soprano when you need him?
Right. I just got one more question about game 5, and then if we want, we can move on to game 6. Do you think Tibbs sitting Randle in, I think it was the second quarter for an extended period of time? Because remember, he wasn't playing that great in the first half, right? So he sat for an extended period of time. I don't know if it was because he wasn't playing great. I don't know if it was for another reason. Obi Toppin was in, and I thought Obi Toppin played very well. Somebody pointed out statistically it may not look that great, but I thought when Obi Toppin was in there, he played good, and he had 5 rebounds. Do you think that galvanized Julius a little bit? Do you think that allowed him to get his thoughts together? Do you think that allowed him to stay fresh? Or do you think it really didn't have any impact on him going forward? Anybody?
I'll jump out quick and get mine out. I think it did. I think it helped him, but I just think it really just helped him kind of settle down and get back into the game. I think that, that thing was a freak accident. I didn't even see it. I don't know if anybody saw it. Whatever happened between him and Bam with the eye jammy, I didn't even see it. So I think that kind of threw him off his game a little bit because, I can't see anybody hitting Julius in the face and him not losing it. But I guess he knew it was an accident and it stood that way. But I just felt like that threw him off a little bit. Like, I think he just needed a minute to go. And it swelled up his eye a little bit. I don't even know if he could see out of that eye that well. So I just felt like he needed to kind of get his balance back.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
I think that's the time when you need him. To me, I would have liked to had seen a little bit more of a response from him. But okay.
I was gonna say that was no freak accident. Bam did it on purpose.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
if it wasn't in Stim's
say that.
video, then I'm then it,
The same way he stood on Jalen Brunson's ankle for like 5 seconds on slow mo. He rolled it. He did
Sim did a video on that earlier. I was able to see it. Good work, Sim.
Thank you.
Just talking about Bam and the different things that he's doing throughout the season, excuse me, this series, and how it doesn't look like when you slow it down, it doesn't look like an accident. It doesn't look like it looks intentional. Once you, especially that ankle one, I'm like, come on. Well, there was actually a lot of them, but he's just stood on. You could feel when you step on somebody's, ankle. But I also feel like the Knicks are a little soft, in my opinion, in those situations.
Yes.
Like those are the situations where you get up and you push them. Get off my ankle. This is you get hit in the eye. You put, maybe I was looking for a clip for the thumbnail. And I have the Knicks found something. I was trying to find a clip of the Knicks being aggressive in the series. And so when I put in Knicks, Miami aggression, Knicks bro, the 90s Knicks came up and Lonzo Mourning and all of them fighting and brawling. There was nothing from these Knicks that I could.
Hart had a pushing match at the end of that one game, didn't he?
I couldn't find a clip of it, though. That's what I was looking for. Like, I couldn't find it.
I mean, yeah, you have to retaliate, especially if the refs are not going to call it. You got to bring it. That's how you bring it to their attention. Yeah, maybe you get a technical foul out of it, but they're going to look for that stuff after there's a little scuffle. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't say nothing, they're going to assume you're okay with it.
Yeah,
and Miami will know. We're not going for that. Go ahead, Sam.
Right. Now I was going to say, I feel like they're doing a lot of stuff on purpose, man. Just dirty stuff on purpose. The whole with Bam Adebayo and Julius's eye. I'm not saying he punched him in the eye on purpose, right? It's not that, but he put his elbow there on purpose, in my opinion, right? Like he knew I can't get the rebound, but I'm gonna wipe him out and get him out the way. You know what I'm saying? Not by bumping him with my body or trying to box him out, but by flailing my arms and knocking him out. With Emmanuel Quickly, when you look at the play with Emmanuel Quickly, he could have dove straight onto the basketball, but he didn't. He threw his body into Emmanuel Quickly. You know what I'm saying? And ended up rolling up on Emmanuel Quickly's ankle. To me, I'm not saying he purposely, ran over his ankle or rolled up onto his ankle, but he purposely, instead of saying, I'm diving for the ball, no, I am going to thrust my body into his legs. You know what I mean? That's what it looked like to me. Jimmy Butler, when RJ is going for a rebound at the end of the game, Jimmy Butler wasn't even going to get the rebound. His whole intention was to run into the back of RJ. He took his body, lifted his shoulders, and said, boom, running into the back of RJ out of bounds. I think that's Bush League stuff.
Right.
But that's how they're playing, so you got to respond.
Sim, you're being nice. You're not saying he did on purpose. Well, I'm saying he did on purpose. Because Bam Adebayo, the play you're talking about where he hurt Quickly, it's more natural, like you said, for him to dive towards the ball. But his body, like he dove like at an angle. I'm like, who does that?
Dove at an
like
angle.
You don't fall like that. Gravity pulled you straight down. Not that gravity will put you at an angle. Right. So he actually did that to hurt the guy. That's what he did.
I wish we had a Bobby Portis on this team.
I'm telling you. Or Marcus Morris.
I was about to say Mook Morris too.
Yep. Yeah.
Charles Oakley.
Yeah, we need one of them guys.
I'll take Sims right now.
Right.
For what?
Nah, he looks hard. I don't know if he
Sim got the size, he don't got the mentality.
He still play tougher than the other two centers that we have.
Well, maybe.
I'm saying what we have on the roster. Nobody's tough on our roster. So if I could take Sims and he like what 6'9", 200 and something, yeah. Like I'm taking Sims to foul Bam. Like if you see the ball rolling, I'm diving on Bam. I'm not diving on the ball. I don't care.
On the right, I'm rolling.
The ball could be on the other side of the court. I would tell Sims to dive right on Bam. So, yes.
I actually think they need to. They should unleash. Now I'm forgetting Jared Jeffries. What's his name? Jeffries. Daquan.
Daquan Jeffries.
You know, because I would say one thing about Daquan, he might be someone you could use to throw around a little force out there, because when he did play, I think he played a minute in the Cavs series, one of those games. This dude was fighting for a loose ball. Like, give me that ball. Like, I'm like, okay, he got a little something in him. So maybe they could, but Tibbs, Tibbs don't do this stuff, man. Tibbs ain't, he's a throwback, but he ain't really that, he's not that dude.
And I'm not saying that Sims is like some big tough guy either, but they're not going to be able to push Sims around like that. He's too strong to just be pushing
That's
around.
true.
I don't see that. Right.
Yeah, for sure. Sim, you can lead with this one if you want. Randle played well in game 5, particularly in the second half. Do you think he's arrived in this series? Like, do you think he's ready to do even more? In other words, is he here to stay?
I do feel like it's slowly coming on, right? He shot well in game 4. He shot well. He shot well last night. And unfortunately for Randle, when he's shooting well, that's when the energy comes. You know what I mean? And he's a little bit more engaged. I mean, I've seen times when he isn't shooting well and he's engaged, but he's way more engaged when he's shooting the ball well. Right. And I think he's seen the 3-ball go through. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that maybe it is here to stay. And he's more engaged, and maybe he's figured out that he can score against this physical, dirty defense. And figure some things out that way. So hopefully it is here to stay. But I think he's getting more comfortable. He's shooting the ball better. I think he figured out in game 5 that, I mean, you would think that he would have figured it out a long time ago, but if he strikes fast, good things happen.
Right.
Yeah, striking fast. Anybody else? Just thoughts on Randle? And you're right, Tim. He played well in game 4 as well. Do you think he's like slowly coming along? Do you think he's arrived? Because if Randle is Randle.
Yeah. If Randle can come out and be Randle, the Knicks have a serious chance of bringing it back to game 7.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell Robinson, played well, played more aggressive, and maybe he figured out how to deal with the box outs, and how to get around those box outs, because I felt like he was more impactful in the game, and not just the free throws down the stretch, which were big though. I was so happy.
Yes.
And I was so happy. And I know the crowd was going crazy because nobody expected him to do a hack a Mitch.
Right.
Nobody expected that. And when he did that, it was like, oh man, you doing this like that. Like, that's how you going out. You know what I mean? And so I was so glad that Mitch knocked down those free throws. I was happy.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, he knocked it down. But I felt like he rebounded better. He was more, he was quicker to loose balls. I don't know how many times in game 3 and game 4, both him and Julius Randle, when, a rebound is going up and, the Heat are tapping it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or when Mitch does get the rebound, they're getting their hand in there to knock it out. Randle too, to knock it out. So I thought Mitch did a better job holding on to the ball when he did get a rebound. He still was bringing it down low, so it's tough for him to get that offensive putback that he's used to because he's bringing the ball down low. Kyle Lowry and those guys are swiping down low as soon as he brings it low. Or Randle kicks it to him along the, in that little dunker spot. He brings the ball low. It's making it tough for him to be able to go straight up with it. But I feel like he found a little bit of a rhythm out there, in rebounding the ball and just playing his game. Obviously Brunson is doing what he's been doing. I think RJ's been having a very calm.
Yeah.
When I say calm, I don't mean calm as far as not doing anything, but playing good, calm basketball under the pressure.
Yep.
You know, like when you see the shot clock is running down and he's got to go to the basket, he's not rushing it. You know,
Right.
he's taking his time, getting to a good spot, and being able to get a shot up. So I think that's really, really good. And RJ's been hitting his three as well. So I mean,
Changes everything.
yeah, and maybe the Knicks are coming around. Like, you know, the pressure of this series. Maybe they're getting used to playing with the pressure. And so now they understand how to play with the pressure and getting back to being able to shoot the ball well or shoot the ball better and things like that. You know what I mean? I think we're going to need Josh Hart to step up and play. He hasn't played well in the last 2 games. You know? So we're going to need his energy off the bench, him to knock down a couple of threes, his ability to score in transition. You know, we're going to need that from Josh Hart, especially if Emmanuel Quickly's not playing. At some point, the bench has got to do something.
Yes. Yeah.
Because even last night, the only people in double digits were Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and
Julius.
right? Nobody else in double digits, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
You're right. Yeah, and we'll talk more about this a little later on about whether playing essentially 6 players is sustainable, because that's basically, you know, what we're down to. Anybody else? You know, salute Morning Brew Sports. I'm not sure if this is Phil or who it is, but shout out to you. All is well. Hope all is well with you also. Anybody else want to take a shot at you know, Randall, if you feel like he's arrived in this series, or are you still in that we'll see?
I'll tell you what gives me hope.
Tough Knick fans were like, we'll see. All right, I know you had 5 games that you played well, but we'll see if you can still keep it up.
I'll tell you what gives me hope, Queen.
Hector. Yeah.
Is do you remember the last play of Game 5?
Yes. Yes.
Mitch missed the free throw, and it was Julius Randle hustled, got the rebound, and put it back in. Good night, Irene.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah.
You know,
Kyle Lowry, yeah.
you know, so to me, that gives me hope, because really what we're missing from Julius is the hustle plays, the effort. If he's engaged, if we can keep him, he's the Rolling Stone. We got to keep him moving, you know, because if we let him stop, he stops. But if we get him going, when he's active and going, even defensively, he can be a monster. Like, I've seen him get up and trap and be in people's face because he knows what he's supposed to do. He's gone. But then if you get him where he's got to think about a rotation or something like that, then he tends to, well, I'm just going to kind of stay here. I'm going to be more passive. We need his aggression, I think. And the more aggressive he is, even if it ends up, you know, I know in Game 4 he ended up getting 3 offensive fouls. But I'd almost rather that, because then I know at least we're getting a Randle who's active and engaged and working his tail off. And those are all he's such a great player. I mean, it's so maddening because he's so talented. I mean, you get this guy, he's literally, when he's on his game, he's unstoppable. He's a top 10 offensive player in the world.
Correct.
And then there's other times where it's like, can I get a bag of donuts for this guy?
Right.
I don't think I've ever heard of a player with that kind of fluctuation and disparity amongst his own fan base. This is a guy he's on our team. If you got Knicks across your chest, you're my guy, man. I don't care. I want you to perform well. But man, you know, Scooby-Doo and the gang can't solve that mystery.
Uh-oh.
But let me ask this though: Do you think he's making a concerted effort to control his emotions, and to make sure he's not a liability in this series? And do you think, if that is the case, do you think that that's impacting how he plays? Because there's some players where they just have to play like that. They just have to go all out. They have to be, in the ref's face, because that's what they do. And when they try to, you know what, I'm not going to be in the ref's face. I'm going to focus now. I'm not do this. I'm going to do. Sometimes it takes away from their game. So do you think that's going on, and or how they're officiating him? Do you think either one of those or both is impacting how he's engaging this game, this series?
Julius has to turn himself up on the court. There's nobody on the team that turns Julius up. If you remember the other night when Jalen Brunson was getting caught up with the referees, you know what I'm saying? And he was going to bark at the ref. You seen Julius run up on him and grab and tell him, like, yo, come on, no, turn up. Julius doesn't have nobody that gets in his grill. And I spoke about this the other day that 75% of Julius, the way he plays is on him. The other 25% is on Brunson. Because when you come here, that's the top dog. I'm quite sure they got together and they spoke one-on-one. Dude, I'm here. I'm here to help you do whatever it is you need to do. I'm going to be your point guard, but I'm going to be hard on you. I'm quite sure he don't said that to Julius. I'm going to be hard on you. I have not seen Jalen Brunson pretty much get, in Julius' grill, as far as getting him to turn up in the game. You know what I'm saying? Get it going. I don't been to the shoot around where I don't spoke to Julius when they shooting, and I don't personally told him, Joe, what you do on this layup line is going to travel over into the game. Dude, get your sweat. So when Julius, comes out there and he gets in tune and get really warmed up and on the layup line and all that, going all out, when he go back into the locker room to get the uniform and everything, when he comes out back on the court, that's the second win if he really gets it in doing the shoot around. And those are the times when Julius was opening up them first quarters. When Julius is opening, Jalen is closing. We need to get back to that. You haven't seen Julius take off in the first quarter in a minute. And this is what we need for Julius. You can tell how Julius is going to open this game up by way he's acting on that layup line. What I learned from Ronnie Clyde is what you do on a layup line is going to carry over into the game. You know what I'm saying? But Julius is in a great position to realize, okay, I did close out the half, you know what I'm saying, on a good note. I did finish the game in the second half. Maybe I got some things that I can, get back to custom and get comfortable with. Get back comfortable into the winning ways of the game. That's where we got uncomfortable on how to win in certain situations during this playoff series against Miami. But then, when we learned, we didn't box out, get the offense, or stop them from getting 7 offensive rebounds in game 4. That carried over to game 5, and we was able to do those things. So those are the things that you need to get back to being comfortable on the court, used to doing. If we get comfortable with playing winning basketball, team basketball, all our effort, energy, all out on the floor again, this series can go right back to number 7. Just like Boston. You should be watching the Boston Celtics. See what they had to do. See what they had to go through to find out how they had to win in Philly to get back to Boston. And real quick about Josh, every referee that's in this league, he knows at least the top 8 players on every team, how they play, how they react, what type of attitude they have and everything. So you got to use that towards your advantage. You know what I'm saying? Get on the phone. Hey, yo, I know such and such is calling that game tonight. They called your game the other night. How did they call your game? Did they call it tough? Did they call it tight? They call it ticky-tack? Then when the time to come to the game, you go to the referees. How you going to call tonight? I'm a dog. I play hard. I play physical. Are you going to allow me to play, or are you going to hold me back? Then you know what you're doing when you get on the court. And then when you get on the court and the referee is calling opposite of what he said he was doing at the beginning, then you can respectfully remind him and let him know, sir, you told me such and such in the beginning. You're not calling it such and such. And they appreciate that conversation a whole lot more. But I believe Julius right now is at the point he realized, I am 2-time, play NBA team, NBA roster I don't made. I went to the All-Star. Man, I can do this right here. And I think Julius is going to show up tomorrow night, open up the doors, in that first quarter and hit them straight in the mouth and let them know I'm not here to play. And I'm glad he's turning down. It hurts a little bit because we know he wanted to really punch that dude in his shield the other night. But that's what they wanted him to do. He wanted to take off on get him tuned up, him out of his game. Maybe he gets suspended for a game. Maybe he wouldn't have played in game number 5. You know what I'm saying? If he'd have acted out on him in game 4. But he tuned down, calmed down. And I like how Hartstein did. Come on, yo, you're not going to do that. But we need more protection on our players. You know what I'm saying? Be there for one another. Bodyguard one another. But let these dudes know we're not playing. We here. We in your building. But you're going to have to earn it. Because if you don't earn it, we taking it back to the building, man. Back to the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Steph, I was gonna say I understand and I think I agree with you with what you're saying about Randle. And you know, we're not seeing him talk to the refs. It's like he is subduing himself a little bit and not doing those things, but that's part of who he is. And I think he's got to just be who he is. If that means complaining to the refs, then complain to the refs. I just want him to be engaged.
Right.
Every minute that he's on the floor. And I feel just like with IQ, when the playoffs first started versus Cleveland, he wasn't playing his game. Like IQ was a loose type of player. And because, you know, he probably felt the pressure of every single possession means something. I better not shoot anything crazy. I better not do anything wild. But that's part of who he is and how he plays loose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes with players, you just got to let them, it might get on your nerves, but you might not be able to get the best out of them if they can't play their game. And I think with Randle being that emotional player, that emotional person is a huge part of his game. And sometimes it comes out the right way, sometimes it comes out the wrong way. But I think that's part of what gets him going and keeps him engaged. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm looking and he's not even talking to the referees about nothing,
right,
I know he's not engaged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know he's not engaged.
But that could have been him, like that concerted effort. Oh, I got to do this. I can't do this. I got to be here for. But if that was the conversation he had with himself, or with, I don't know, with somebody else, it's taken away from his game.
Yeah.
Remember, I was going to say.
I was just going to say I agree. I agree with everybody. What y'all saying? My fault, Jarrell. I agree with it, and I do think that that it's like he's missing a part of himself. I think he feeds off of that you know, chaoticness, that anger that he builds up. He uses it to fuel his game, and I think it's definitely missing. Because and to what Jay Boogie was saying, yeah, regular season Julius Randle would have put Cody Zeller through that post, like. You know, you know what I mean. So yeah, something's there. It's good because he doesn't want to be the reason why the Knicks lose, or he doesn't want to get thrown out of a game because they need him. But it's at this point, I think you're right. Like he's got to play the way he plays. Like we need Julius Randle.
How many times have we seen Randle get mad because the ref's not calling the game? He got fouled hard, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere with a big. Dunks it on somebody or grabs a big rebound and put it back, and you see him scream and yell because he's letting out that
energy.
Yeah,
need that.
Yo, that Cody Zeller, I ain't like that Cody Zeller joint, man. Come on, man. Juju is he's our toughest guy. Cody Zeller is not their toughest guy. I'm sorry.
He's doing his job, man.
Man, listen, man.
I was just going to say, I was just going to say that kind of piggybacks what Ron said with Ian Begley. Said that he got in a shouting match with the coaching staff. They could have been it. Like what else could he? I don't know. I don't see how else would he get in an argument with like coaching staff if it wasn't about something like that. It couldn't have been about like, you know, X's and O's.
You think they tell me too soft out there?
Probably. Because he has been too soft.
And my fault, guys, because when I saw it, I should have screenshotted it because I knew I was going to talk about it at some point, and now I'm trying to find it. I'm like, but yeah.
It's almost like the elephant in the room. Like Julius Randle has been soft this series because he's not used to playing like that. That's why it's so jarring. Like
and I think listen. I don't. It would have to be something real egregious for the officials to throw him out. But he might need a tag. You know, he might. You know, he might need a tag.
That's what I'm saying.
To get himself going. You know, whatever it takes. I just see a different Julius Randle. I'm not even sure if the way they're officiating him, because sometimes that can take you out of your game too. You try to be aggressive. I think that's what's happening with Josh Hart. You know, he's trying to be aggressive and play his boop, boop,
Right.
before he, So I think that's taking him out of his game as well. But I just hope Randle just goes back. I hope something clicks and he said, you know what? That conversation I had with myself or whoever it was is not working.
Right.
I just need to go back to being myself.
Yep.
Well, you only
That's
got
what I'm
one
saying.
game
That
to
you got to be physical. No, I was going to say you got to be physical. If you're going to be physical, then do it the right way. And if it looks like they're not going to go, if the refs aren't going to let you be physical the right way, and they're going to try to get you up out of there, then I said this a long time ago, many shows ago. I think it was on your show, Steph. I said, listen, if I'm going, I'm taking somebody with me.
Yep.
So, I'm two-piecing Bam, so Bam can lose it. We both out of here.
Right. Like if I'm gonna lose game 6 and go home, somebody not gonna be available for game 1.
That's all I'm saying.
Somebody.
That's all
I
I'm
don't care
saying.
who it is.
Listen, it could be something as simple as putting your foot in their landing spot, the same way they've been doing to us.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
somebody's not going to be available for the first 2 games of the next series, right? Give him a sprained ankle, just like they're doing to us. Bam, fall on the floor, put your foot on his ankle, roll it up nice and slow, the way he did, for like 5 seconds. Put your weight on it. Do the same thing. Why can't we do the same thing?
That's why I wish Randle, when Bam went up for the dunk at the end of last night's game, I wanted Randle to just bang him one.
Yeah.
I did. I want him to just, I'm not letting you get it. I'm putting you on the floor. It's gonna be a hard foul, not flagrant, but a hard foul.
Right.
Send that message.
Kyle Lowry too. That's somebody else I want to hit, but I'm done.
He's
That's
dirty.
it.
He's dirty too.
I want Kyle Lowry too. Hit him too.
He's dirty. He's a little dirty player too. That guy.
Yeah, he's really he's dirty and he's slick with it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Real slick with it.
I actually
He's low to the ground. I don't even know if the refs are seeing what's going on down.
Exactly.
Right. Like I actually admire it, but yeah, hit him too.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen, the last 2 games, the Knicks have shot pretty well. Do you think there's anything Tibbs did, any change in the offense or anything? Or do you think it's pretty much the same offense, pretty much the same shots? The past 2 games have been knocking them down.
Nah, man, I think we've been kind of inconsistent at shooting all season. So I think it's just a streak that we're on. Hopefully, going forward, it'll change for the better. But yeah, I think we're just inconsistent anyway.
Yeah, that's what I think. To me, it looks like we've been getting the same shots.
Mm-hmm.
We just started making them from the perimeter, which loosens up the defense a little bit. As far as being able to penetrate to the basket. Because now I got to guard the perimeter just a little bit tighter, so the lanes are open a little bit more, which means you can get open shots on the perimeter again because people are gonna, crash to you in a state of panic. So it's like a circle, like a cycle. You know what I mean? One hand washes the other. So I think from them, being able to knock down some shots, everyone gets a little confident in their shot, and I think it's the same shots they've been getting all series long. They're just hitting them. I don't see anything different.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was just gonna say I don't know about game 4, so I don't want to put it on game 4. But game 5, I know people don't want to look at it like that. Some people are still like, I don't know. But I think putting Grimes back in that starting lineup helps. I think it helps Grimes because he benefits from being there with those guys. But I think it's also, that starting lineup has been a starting lineup that's played multiple games together. The cohesion, I just think people knowing where people are on the court, where they should be when you're out there. I just think it's a better feel for the starters.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference too. Knowing each other, playing with each other, having that continuity makes a big difference.
Yeah. Anything else about game 5 before we move on to game 6?
To piggyback on what Ron said for just a second, I think the difference between starting Grimes and starting Hart is when they started Hart, whoever had the assignment on Hart was collapsed completely into the paint. And they just left him out there and they dared him to shoot because they know he doesn't want to shoot. He may go dribble in and make a play or do whatever he did a little bit of that in game 1 when he had a bunch of assists, almost racked up a triple-double, but he doesn't want to shoot it from out there. And even though Grimes hasn't shot the ball great, I think it was like 2 for 6 in game 5, that threat kept the defense honest, and it opened up lanes for them to do other things. It opened up Brunson to get going because there weren't as many bodies in there because they have the film on Grimes. They know what he's been able to do. They know they don't want to just leave him out there and get him going because this is a guy who, when he's gotten volume, 10, 12, 15 shots, he'll drop 20 on you. He'll hit 5 or 6 threes, you know, and we haven't seen that yet because he hasn't had that volume. And he, like I said, 2 of 6 isn't great, but it's not bad either. It's if you shoot 33%, you're making enough to keep them honest. And if they're like, okay, we'll live with that. I actually think Grimes, if you get him 10 shots from 3, is going to hit at a higher percentage. I think he might make 4, maybe even 5 of those shots if they're wide open shots. And I think they think that too. So I think that, you know, I think that the change in the starting lineup and bringing Grimes back in kind of has helped. And necessity being the mother of invention. I don't know if that was a planned thing by Thibodeau so much as it was Hart was in foul trouble, so he was pretty much unavailable, and that was what it was. You can assign blame or credit however you want to. That I don't have any opinion on that, but I do think that having Grimes in the start with that starting unit and just the perceived threat of him as a shooter, even if it's not actual, it does help some.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say just to sorry, Steph. I just wanted to say it before I forgot. I'm at the point, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I just want Josh Hart to let it fly. If you open, take the shot. I think that if you get 8 opportunities wide open, I think you're going to hit at least 3 of them. That's my feeling with Josh Hart. I'm not for certain, but I feel good about it. He did it again yesterday. He had a wide open 3, and what did he do? He passed it to Julius for a contested 3. Like,
right? No doubt about it. Listen, this is what I'll say. I think the whole Grimes thing is overstated about how he's opening up lanes. Miami is not coming out of protecting the paint because of Grimes. What's going to take, because I think they will allow him to have that if he's the only one, and he doesn't get a lot of volume in our offense. I think what's going to open up our paint and the paint, and what has opened up the paint, is when you have multiple players hitting threes. Now they have to abandon their strategy of packing it in the paint. I don't think they're going to abandon it because Grimes is going 2 for 6. You know, they're still going to pack it in. But when you got Grimes hitting, you got RJ hitting, you got Randle hitting, you got Brunson hitting, they can't stay in the paint. They have to. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be in the starting lineup. And I get it. They do have to pay attention to him. But I think for us to get really what we want, we're going to need what we got yesterday. And that was and in game 4, multiple players hitting the 3-point shot. So now they cannot commit to the paint. And I hope we get that. I hope we get that tomorrow, because if we do and they can't pack the paint, you know, hopefully we can get some offensive rebounds as well. Miami last game, points in the paint, I think it was 21-12. You know, or something like that. Not points in the paint, excuse me. Second chance points. Second chance point. And they only got 11 offensive rebounds, but they converted on it. We got 14 and we only got 12 points. You know,
most of that was in the first quarter, actually. I think 13 of those 21 points were in the first quarter.
So we did a better job as time went on.
I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was heavily the problem in the first quarter, and they kind of cleaned it up after that. That's how this old brain recollects it anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Yeah, I don't have the stats. I would like to, if somebody can point me to them. I would like to see points in the paint, points of turnovers by halves. When I go to NBA.com,
Oh, yeah.
we see it at the end. For the
Yeah, because I'm looking at Google now is from like totality of the game, and they don't have it broken down by quarters.
right. All right. The question of the night: have the Knicks figured out the Heat? And if so, what have they figured out?
I think the only thing they figured out with the Heat is that they just old and tough. That's all. I think that the Knicks just need to figure out themselves more than the actual Heat.
I think something we saw last night that I don't think the Knicks have done all series is the second effort on defense, as far as really getting to those closeouts and contesting those shots. I think they did it so much better last night. There were still some open 3-point shots, but not as many. And the Heat had more people running or charging at them, which will make you let the ball go a little bit faster, right? Or, slightly throw you off your rhythm. So I think the Knicks did a much better job doing that. And maybe they realized that we're going to have to we can't let this team shoot it from 3. And maybe they felt like, maybe from the beginning, the scouting report was, you know what? They haven't really hit the 3. We're going to test them. Okay, they did it against Milwaukee. Maybe we're going to test them, and we're going to just guard this paint and not let them score inside. Then they got hot from 3. Now the Knicks, at least last night, really did a good job of running them off the line when they had to. I mean, Duncan Robinson did get hot, but closing out hard at that 3-point line, making multiple efforts. And I think they're gonna have to continue to do that. They can't let Duncan Robinson get as hot as he got last night, because that thing was pure when he was hitting them last night. Every time he let it up, I was like, oh man, I know this is going in. I don't know if they found it. I mean, I think they had to. I don't know if there's any special trick besides making your shots, rebounding the basketball, and continuing to play, playing that tough defense. I don't think there's any special tactics that the Knicks really have to do.
But what I think, Sam, I think they figured out that they can do those things against Miami. Yeah. I'm not going to say they were shook. Maybe that's a bit strong a word, but the Knicks didn't look like themselves. And I think last night, I'm hoping that what they learned is we can play with these guys.
Right.
It's just regular basketball. We need to rebound. We need to play tough. We need to hit our shots. I'm hoping like the fog lifted a little bit. And they was like, yo, this is just regular basketball. We can beat these guys. Listen, this was the first game they won in the series with Butler playing.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they get some confidence from that as well.
I'm just wondering, is it Miami or is it just the Knicks? Because as we talked about, the streaky Knicks, the same Knicks that can run off 5-6 games in a row, then all of a sudden lose 4 in a row. Like, what happened here? I just think sometimes they go in these ruts. They get down on themselves. One thing don't work, and now nothing works. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure it out.
Streaky. I think it's team in the league, boy. Streaky.
I got a blueprint. For the Knicks. I ain't gonna say it yet, but something that I would really look into as far as tomorrow, and I know they're not looking at it, is Gabe is out of this series. He's done. His first 2 games, that's over with, done. He's not even the factor anymore.
Jay is happy about that.
Don't get me started on that.
Huh? Yeah. What I would think about doing is, it's 2 guys that I want to shut down. It's 2 guys, and them 2 guys, they play the same spot and they sub for one another. That's Strohs and that's Duncan. So, my best defensive player is Klein. RJ, Jimmy. you got to go get Jimmy. Because I don't see you play, you know what I'm saying, go toe for toe with this dude last year. And I like the way you're playing now. You got to go get Jimmy. So now, if I got Grimes on Strohs and he's, you know what I'm saying, denying like he does, he fights over screens, all that, and I shut down him and I shut down Duncan, where they can go up and get 8, 9 trades per game, and I lower that to 3 or 4, that's a lot of points coming on that board. Like you said, Gabe, he's done. So if Jimmy, you want to shoot them deuces, I got enough players over here on my team that can match you deuce for deuce. You know, if you want to do something different, get it to probably stick with the Grimes thing. But I think our offense is pretty much set in stone. They're ready to go. I would have probably pretty much made our offense like it is now in game 2 when Julius came back. I would have went back to the normal. But I do know and understand that, yeah, he got hurt in, you know what I'm saying, in game number 2. So he's limping. So maybe I might just keep Josh Hart out there so I can have 3 guys that I know that can attack the rim and not give them no breathing space. I want to make sure you can move laterally with your ankle. But when they didn't do that, put no pressure on Jimmy, all that went out the window. So I thought we might have went back to our normal starting rotation 1 game late. You tried something different in game 3, but you should have, you know, you tried something different in 2, and it didn't work. Then you went back because Jimmy got hurt. So you started to know the way you wanted to be in game 4, which we really 1 game behind, or starting with our normal rotation. And we went 3-4 and leading up all the way up to right here, right now. But I think the team right now, they locked in. I think they believe and they have faith and that confidence. You know, they facing a lot. You know, you got to remember the Knicks only lost 4 games in 4.5 weeks. The Knicks is only 3 games away from the finals. I mean, 3 teams, and that's Philly. I mean, that's Miami, the winner of Boston, Philly, and whoever comes out of the West. So they feeling a lot of pressure. But I think over the last 2 games, we're starting to realize that we can play. I'm more comfortable. I'm more relaxed in the situations that's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So right now, there ain't no pressure on the Knicks. The biggest pressure was winning in the crib in front of all the people. You know what I'm saying? The 50-year anniversary, 50 years since 1973. You even had Clyde not even calling the game. The pressure was on in winning in our own building. Unlike what happened against Atlanta when we came back and we lost that game 5, we lost that series at home. No, we won this game this time. And now the pressure shifts to Miami. Miami know they don't want to come back to this. No, they know that because we only getting better, we only getting more healthier, and the team gonna get more confidence. And we take this victory up out of them tomorrow night, Monday, and get another 2.5 days off. Skip over Mother's Day, even though every day is Mother's Day. Man, game 7 is gonna be something rocking inside that building. And this is what my pressure's on Miami. I'm glad we won game 5 in our building and relax a little bit. Go out there and play your own game, y'all. Just play your own game. And everything gonna work out for itself, man. We come on, celebrate, and get ready for game 7. Have a great weekend. But yeah,
I hope you're right. The point you made about Strauss, I think one of the things Tibbs wanted to do, but he didn't get a chance to because of the foul trouble. I think he wanted to play Hart and Grimes together because now you got, you know, you could put one of them on Strauss. You could keep Grimes on, on Jimmy, on Jimmy Butler. But he just kept getting into foul trouble, so he just wasn't, wasn't able to do it. We'll see in game 6. And listen, shout out to RJ Barrett. We talking about the timely shots that we got last night, but we got some timely stops too. And I think that one-legged steal, from Grimes, and then the block shot from RJ Barrett, those were like timely stops, that we needed last night. I think, just to answer the original question, I think what I hope the Knicks figured out is that we could play with these cats. We can play with these cats. We can beat them. And I think they feel really confident going into game 6. And now it's just purely about basketball. Because I think there might have been some doubts about whether or not they can hang with them, whether or not they was just a better team, and I think from game 5, that win, that may have been put to bed. And then now the Knicks can just focus on the game plan and basketball and coming out, hitting shots and doing what they need to do.
I think game 5 put a lot of stuff to bed. The whole, I know I was questioning, one is Miami just a better team? I was like, they're just better than us. And then are the Knicks afraid of the moment? Are the lights too big for them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think they probably had those same questions. And that's why Julius come out and said maybe they just wanted more than us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's a question that the team itself was asking itself in the locker room. Do they want it more than us? Are the lights too big for us? Are we going to prove that the lights are not too big for us?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or too bright for us? And I think they came out and proved it to us and proved it to themselves last night. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of what happens, they learned a lot in that game last night. Like they learned a lot about themselves that they're going to be able to take with them next year, and so on. Because they learned a whole lot about themselves.
Yeah, and that you got to make. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that game 4 was really. I mean, we talked about it already. That was deflating, man. Like the perfect storm of everything going wrong. Knicks trying their hardest. Well, not the hardest. We did question their effort a little bit in game 4, but for the most part, they played well, and all of the 50-50 balls went to Miami. The refs called everything against the Knicks, and we talked about it, Steph. Miami hit every big shot you could hit. That is so deflating. So I think that really messed with their psyche. Like, yo, what? Everybody.
Yeah. And I feel like in game 1, the Knicks were up 12, right? And Miami, I don't know if they called the timeout exactly when the Knicks were up 12, but there was a point in time when Spo said to Miami, said to his team, remember who you're playing. You're playing a tough team, a physical team, an aggressive team. And from that point on, they dominated the series. And I feel like last night could have been a point for the Knicks when they were down 10 at the end of the first quarter.
Right.
And on the bench, I'm sure they looked at each other and said, we can't go out like this.
Right.
We got to figure something out because we can't go out this way. And then they basically dominated the rest of the game.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So the Knicks might have had one of those moments last night too, where they just knew that we got to come out swinging.
Right. And I think that builds their confidence to make them feel like we could beat this team. Like we got it now. We got it. We know what it takes. This is the thing though. The margins are slim. The margins are slim. You know what I mean? So you got to be darn near perfect,
Yeah.
Listen, can we win game 6 with minimal bench impact, meaning playing essentially 6 players? How do we this is basically 2 questions. How do we get Brunson some rest in game 6? Do you trust McBride in spurts in this series?
I would. I don't have any problem. I'm not saying play him 30 minutes or anything like that, but without quickly at all, I think he provides you some. What he's going to provide on the defensive end. I don't think Lowry's going to beat him. I don't think he's going to be a liability. I'm not saying he's going to hit shots necessarily, but I think he's playable for 5 or 10 minutes. At the very least, and if he's doing a good job, maybe 15, but I think, part of the reason why both Grimes and Brunson were 48 minutes guys, because Hart was in foul trouble, and Hart a lot of times can pick up those extra ball handling minutes if we need him to. He's done that a lot this year, but I actually think it might not be a bad idea to inject Deuce into the lineup, especially with guys like Obi and and maybe even Hart, guys that like to run and push the pace and get out, because I think he's going to give their ball handlers. I don't think they have a lot of really strong ball handlers at the point of attack. So I think that's an opportunity, maybe get a couple of steals, get out in transition, get a couple easy buckets, and just give him a chance to get a few minutes to rest. Because I don't think two guys playing 48 minutes is sustainable for multiple games in a row. I'm amazed that both of them did it in one game, to be honest. I know,
effective.
you know, I know, I don't think that's typical even in the playoffs. I mean, I think it's just, it was impressive. It was incredible. They both were unbelievable in their own right, in their own role. But I don't know that specifically is sustainable for multiple games, especially with only 1 day break in between. I think Brunson's gonna need a little bit of a breather somewhere along the way. And it also occurs to me from listening to what Sim and Jay Boogie had to say. I watch a lot of college ball, and there comes a time like after conference play and like during the conference tournament, and you're like, that kid's not a freshman anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's been through the wars of an entire season. He hit his wall from where he played more games than he's in high school, and he kind of got past it.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm hoping is that we're kind of realizing we're not freshmen anymore. You know, we went through that lull. We got punched in the mouth. We figured out that we didn't have the experience. We weren't matching the intensity, but we're not going to make it to the point where we have to learn those lessons and apply them next year. Maybe we can learn those lessons and apply them now. Maybe the future can be now. Maybe we figured out, hey, as Steph said, we can play with these boys now. Let's go take it.
Right.
Yeah. Steph, to be honest with you, I think Brunson's going anywhere between 45 and 48 minutes tomorrow. I don't think there's anybody else out there that Tom Thibodeau trusts more than Brunson. And with the way, with the way the bench has been playing, anytime you have a predominantly bench unit out there on the floor, so far in this series, Miami's going on a run, right? And so I don't think he's comfortable without having Brunson out there on the floor, and especially without having IQ there. I don't think he thinks bad of Deuce, but I guess maybe he doesn't feel Deuce is ready for the moment or whatever it is. And, he hasn't used him a lot. So I don't see him thrusting him in. I think he learned a lesson when he did that with Frank Ntilikina against Atlanta. So I don't feel like he's going to thrust him in, besides maybe, giving Brunson a minute's rest at the end of a half if the Knicks have a lead or something like that, or maybe cutting a few minutes out of the third quarter at the end of the third quarter to throw Deuce in there. That's about all that I see. And I'm not saying that Deuce can't help play some defense, because he does have fresh legs, but I just don't think I think Tom Thibodeau is putting his trust in Jalen Brunson. And if Jalen Brunson says he can go, he's going to put him out there for that length of time.
Yeah, but I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'll be real quick. If we lose, we go home, right?
Right. Yeah.
As long as Jalen Brunson doesn't have an IV in his arm on the bench, he should be playing in the game. I don't care if all five starters play 48 minutes. If we lose the game, the season is over.
It's done.
Like, I'm not like I can see worrying about if it's sustainable for like in a whole series, but we're at the end of the series. This could be the end of the season. we might not have to worry about if it's sustainable or not after tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, play as long as he wants to. As long as he wants to play and he's okay playing.
He probably wouldn't have got an IV after the game last night.
Probably didn't.
You know, because
He seemed like he
IVs,
got it.
Probably, yeah.
you know, them IVs give you some energy.
Nice dose of vitamin C.
Word.
Vitamin B.
That too. I just was just gonna say, like, I'm a little bit more apprehensive. You know me. I'll be worried about these guys, but I agree with what you're saying, Jarrell. I think, listen, it's win or go home, right? I'd probably prefer to play him around 40 minutes and give him 8 minutes rest rather than 48. But what I'm saying is what only thing that bothers me about Tibbs, and I get it, this is a tough time, and you don't know if you can trust certain players in these moments. It's a lot of pressure, but can we give a guy a chance to show us that he's not the answer? Like, you played Deuce 3 games ago, 51 seconds. You played him 2 games ago, 4 minutes. Yesterday's game, you played him 31 seconds. Like, what the hell do you expect to see from Deuce to say, oh, yeah, I can see he's not ready. Like, can I see a little something from put him out there with Brunson? Let Brunson do his thing and let Deuce at least get on the court with Brunson for a little bit. Let me see something.
But then Grimes wouldn't play 48.
That's fine. That's fine. Listen, what worries me is both these guys, Grimes and Brunson, have had leg injuries. Both of them.
True.
Yeah.
You got them running around on their legs for 48 minutes. A little concerned, a little bit.
Yeah, but the flip side of it is you can be home resting.
Yep.
Because
you have a lot of
no,
time
man.
You're gonna have all summer.
all summer.
You got a
long
Well,
time to rest.
Here's the other thing. Here's the flip side of that, though. What if we get 48 minutes from Brunson tomorrow, but Brunson doesn't have a game like, Brunson played really well in this last game. 38 points. His shot was going. We had spacing. He was able to move. What if he don't get that? Now, do you want Brunson out there for 48 minutes? Like, I don't know. You got to figure out ways to make it work.
I'm willing to live and die with Brunson at this point.
Because
who
Starks
else is going to step? Who's going to step up? Like, who's going to step up if he don't?
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, Hart should play more minutes. I don't know if he's going to play for Brunson though. So I think we'll have at least an 8. I think between Hartenstein, Obi, and Josh Hart. I'm not sure how many minutes Obi is going to get. His minutes have gone down. I guess. I mean, from 17 to 12 or 10, depending on the game, depending on the air ball. If he shoots an air ball, you ain't getting more than 10 minutes. So that first shot has to hit the rim, or Thibodeau is losing confidence.
Backboard or something.
Hit the foam at the bottom. You shoot one air ball, you ain't getting more than 10 minutes. You shoot 2 air balls, you ain't getting more than 5 minutes.
You might not come back in the second half.
Tim's gonna be playing with some of these guys, man. It's like, oh,
he's like, oh, word.
Joking.
Right. Yeah. The lead, and you know what? I thought when Obi had that 18-8 when Randle was out, that he kind of, earned an air ball. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, you put an air ball, we're gonna still come back to you because
he thought that too. And shot 2 of them the next game. He thought he could earn them 2 air balls too.
He probably earned a couple air balls, last night. I mean, 12 minutes, 6 rebounds for Obi.
I mean, he was, in the second quarter when the Knicks went on that run, he was part of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He had that one dunk. He did. That was momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum gaining.
Yeah, that's one of the things we didn't talk about is that the Knicks played with pace last night. The Knicks got 16, 19 fast break points, something like that. And that's always good when you can get some points before they set up the defense. But the thing about it is, in order to run, you got to get stops. If you, to Jeff's point earlier, they hitting shots and you taking it out the rim, Oh man, out of bounds, it's kind of hard to get fast break points. You play good defense, you get stops. You know, you can you can run the ball some. Shout out to Trish D. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Jeff is so inspiring that I think we need to fly him to Miami and get him into that locker room for a pregame talk. Let me tell you.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Jeff and Jay Boogie would have somebody run through a wall at in Miami.
Right.
Send both of them.
Julius gonna be dripping sweat during the layup line because he said, this is right here on the line.
Right.
But listen, I was looking for tickets to the Miami game. I'm in Georgia, and they had tickets.
Oh, yeah.
They had tickets, $162.
$162.
$160. Now it was.
You sure that wasn't no watch along stuff? That was the real game.
That's Knicks watching.
$160.
That's Knicks watch along price.
And that was in the
2 miles
100
away.
section in the corner though. The 100 sections in the corner. There was there was a lot of the flights were more expensive than tickets.
Right.
Wow.
That price is only
That's
because
crazy.
the Knicks are in the building. If that had been the Sixers, it might have been $125.
Right.
You know what time it is. They know
That's true.
they know where the money is at. We the money team right here, man. The money team.
Then parking would have been more than the tickets.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess the last question, maybe I'll put both of these together. Anything you want to see Tibbs do in Game 6, and what do the Knicks need to do to win Game 6?
I'll go first. I'll go real quick. I don't think Tibbs going to change anything. He Tibbs, so I'm going to just go off of that. What do they need to do? Like I said earlier before in the beginning of the show, just play with maximum effort, make shots, and win the game in the clutch time towards the end after, the last 5-6 minutes, give the ball to Brunson. But yeah, max effort and make shots. I say we'll win Game 6 and go to the Garden Game 7.
All right.
I think that what we've seen in this series, and I think it's I don't have statistical proof to back it up by any means, but the calls go to the aggressor. You know what I mean? If you're the more aggressive team, you tend to get the foul calls. I believe that from as a high school coach, I've seen it, and I preached it to my kids. I've seen it in college. You see, how often you see a team down by 15 points, they go to a full court press, they're hacking and whacking every ball handler you can find, but they're not getting calls because they're just playing aggressive ball and they're daring the officials to call it. So I think that in general, all other things being equal, calls go to the aggressor. And if we are the aggressor, if we come out with the mindset, and I love the idea, like Jay Boogie said, let's get Randle going off early. Not this one-on-one on Bam Adebayo, but get him on any one of those other guys on the move, get him some easy buckets early, get him going, because if they have to worry about Randle, that messes up their entire defense. And that means Brunson gets going. That means everything else is carte blanche on the table. And the game will dictate what they're supposed to do. Isn't that what our coach always said? But I think that's the key to the game. We need to we need to be the aggressor. We need to get Randle off early, get his confidence going, get him going downhill a little bit, get that inertia rolling from him, and then protect the ball. I think even last game, I think that was the stat I was most disappointed in. 18 turnovers.
Yeah.
We rebounded well, but we gave the ball away so many times. And it always felt like when we turned the ball over, it was in a situation where we had numbers or we had an advantage, and we just, I don't know if we were playing too fast or we just relaxed or what the situation is, but I kind of want to see them just be smart with the ball, take care of the ball, trust each other, trust their system, and trust the work they put in. And, look, I don't know a Knicks fan. If we go out there and we give it everything that we can give it, we hustle for every loose ball and the shots just don't fall, or they shoot lights out or whatever. I don't think there'd be any reason to be upset. I live with that. I'll live with that result. What I don't want is I don't want might have beens. Well, we should have done this. We would have been better if we did that. We could have done that. I don't want the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I want we left it all on the floor. The chips fell where they may. And I think if you do that, the result's going to take care of itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I missed something real quick. Hit somebody. I'm done. I'm done. Hit somebody.
There you go.
I completely forgot about that. Hit somebody.
Yeah. I think ball movement is going to be key, right? Because, like you're saying, you have an aggressive team, a defensive aggressive, a team that's aggressive defensively. If you move the ball, you can use their aggressiveness against them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think last night we did a good job moving the ball and then attacking off of their closeouts. That's how Julius Randle got, 2 or 3 probably hockey assists, right? Where Bam Adebayo is attacking him and he's driving to the basket. Then he kicks over to Brunson or Grimes in the corner. Then they swing it up to the wing, right? And we've seen that happen several times last night. So I think we've got to play fast like that, so that we can use their aggression against them. But I agree. We got to come out and be more aggressive. If all 5 players are fouling, they can only call it on one person at a time.
Right.
Everybody's got to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got to play that aggressive style of basketball, match what Miami does as far as being aggressive. You know what I mean? And I think if they match that, they move the ball and they can hit shots, I think they'll have a chance to win the game and take care of the ball. You know what I mean? They'll have a chance to win it. And like Jarrell said, hit back. The one thing I do want to comment on, though, someone said, about Josh Hart, about Brunson getting a little bit of a break. Josh Hart can help handle the ball. I'm not comfortable with Josh Hart having the ball in his hands for that long.
Right. Yeah.
When I see him in transition, sometimes when he's attacking in transition, he's good. But sometimes when it comes to him having to kick out, I feel like he commits too deep into it and then he can't get the kick out. I get a little concerned about his decision making when he's going fast like that. I don't want to see him having to handle the ball too much, not in this series. In the regular season, it seemed like it was fine, but I feel like the pressure might be a little bit too high for him in this series for him to be handling the ball a lot. I like RJ being able to help out handle the basketball because he's been doing a good job with it, I think. So yeah, and the Grimes and Hart lineup, I don't know about it yet. When he puts, he has RJ out the game and Grimes and Hart is out there with Brunson and whoever else is on the floor. I'm still figuring that out because I feel like Grimes is a little shaky with the ball as far as ball handling, and I feel like Josh Hart can be a little bit shaky. So then that leaves Brunson by himself sometimes without a secondary ball handler.
Good point. Do you think though with Josh Hart, is it only when he's in transition and he's going coast to coast at a road runner pace and then he gets in the key and things just closing around and he just turns around and he looks for somebody and he passes it to him? But what about him just bringing the ball up the court regular, not at breakneck speed? Because, during the season, we've used him in that second unit. He was out there with Quickly, but he was basically bringing the ball up, initiating the offense, and Quickly was playing off ball. But you still don't trust him just even bringing the ball up?
I feel like he's a little
regular pace.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little jittery in this series. And Miami is pressuring. They're pressuring from inbound from baseline to baseline. Yeah. I just feel like he's a little jittery right now in this series.
Yeah, they're gonna pressure him full court pressure. Like between Gabe and Martin, them guys is the ball handler. That's why they've been pressuring, Brunson. Every possession they in the backcourt picking you up full court. So I get they've been trying to wear Jalen down with that. So if you imagine if you take Jalen out that game and you put that ball in the hand, they're gonna be like, get him, full court, pressure him, you know what I'm saying? And that's gonna speed him back up, and you know what I'm saying, where he gonna take off running up the court, you know what I'm saying, and be slammed out of control, you know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know how it's gonna work out with Brunson as far as his the minutes and everything, but all I can say is, there's plenty of times where you can get breath and catch it and take your timeouts inside the game. You still minutes here and there. Like I said earlier, thank you, Eric, for calling them dumb. They're doing them dumb hacker shacks. That was 2 timeouts you gave Brunson, you know what I'm saying? But free throws, when they shoot free throws, catch your breather, you know what I'm saying? And if we're closing out a quarter and it's like a minute left and we got 7-8 point lead, something like that, sit them down until the quarter starts open. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know when to steal the moments and make sure, you know what I'm saying, it's the right timing. That's because besides that, a real ball player like Brunson is, and like he said, don't take me out this game. I ain't coming out this game. And I believe he told him that. I'm here. I can go the distance, you know what I'm saying? And it's great that Grimes went the distance too. But if we only got 6 players, which Hart, got foul trouble and everything, we're going to need another ball. Somebody's going to have to come and, relieve him from the ball handling. If you got Josh Hart bringing the ball up in there, I want Brunson still in the game. So like Sim said, I'm cool with RJ bringing the ball up court. You don't have to do everything all game long. But if you could just get them guys, tell Grimes I need you to get going. Julius, I need you to get going. RJ, you get it going. I'm getting ready to feed y'all. Take off first quarter. Then they are opening. And you can always close, but the more that them guys play, the more easy it's going to become on Brunson. And that's all you can ask for the guys to go out there and put it on and do what they got to do. But me personally, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get out the way. I appreciate the whole entire season. You know what I'm saying? And whoever's listening, you know what I'm saying, whatever happens tomorrow, you cannot forget that the fact we came in before the season ended last year, we needed a point guard. We did that. We got as a general. We got as a floor guy. You know what I'm saying? We are ahead of schedule. We won a series. We beat a team where we should have got Donovan, didn't get him, and beat an elite team in the series. You know what I'm saying? We're in the second phase, in the second phase of the playoffs. In actuality, we don't won 6 games in the playoffs this year. That's big. It's the small things that we're doing that's going into the right direction that I want people to still be appreciative of and be happy for the team and just know, you know what I'm saying, we have a great season and we going in the right direction. And besides, you never know, I might drop a bomb, first thing in the morning. I might drop a new track because the Knicks is undefeated when I drop tracks. I dropped in December, we took off. You know what I'm saying? I dropped, the Ghostface. We on a run. We went on a run, 8 games. You know what I'm saying? I dropped the other day. We won the other day. So I might have to, wait for my baby to go to sleep, go up here, cook something up, man. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Blessings to y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, everything you're doing all year long. Great content. Shout out to the chat. There's no other fan base better than our orange and blue. You know what I'm saying? Other orange and blue, you copy haters, the Auburn Tiger, the Denver Bronco. You don't have that real orange and blue going on like we do, man. So I just want to say I appreciate everything that we got going on. I love y'all. Y'all have a great last 21 minutes tonight, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, man. Peace.
Salute.
Appreciate you, J Boogie.
Salute.
No doubt.
Yeah, and let me do the ad, Jay. Smash that like button. Come on, man. We got 174 people watching, only 87 likes. Smash that like button.
Run, that's 48%. 48% like, that's crazy, man.
That's Mitchell Robinson free throw
48%.
shooting.
Yeah,
because they going the distance. Queen ain't even opened up the Thursday night freestyle session yet. You know how she do? She spitting bars earlier, but I'm gonna go rewind this tape so I can steal the bars though. Yep. All right, y'all.
all right, man. Let's get this thing to 125, 130, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. Come on.
You got 7 on the panel, man, spitting facts you know,
I hit my like button as soon as I came in here. All you got to do is, if you're on your mobile device, hit the live chat button. It'll drop it down. Hit the like button. Hit the live chat button again. You right back where you left off. Let's go, baby. Come on, people.
Make it happen. Queen, in terms of what we got to do, and I want to add to what everybody was saying. You know, of course, you know, we got to exactly what everybody's saying, but I want to add the following, right? Hit the open shot. Like, we stop passing on these open shots, man. I don't care if you make it or miss it, just hit it. If you wide open, take it. Take the shot.
Word.
On defense, stay disciplined. First of all, anybody go for a pump fake, I'm putting you on the bench. Because Miami, they all pump fake. They all do that. I mean, this is game 6. We should know this by now. They pump fake. That's how they get you in foul trouble. That's how they get to the free throw line. That's how they do all that stuff. And if I'm Tibbs, I'm not doubling Jimmy Butler. I'm playing him one-on-one.
He got to earn it, though. If he's getting hot, you might have to. But
like, listen, if he's like getting hot, and everybody, if he hot, everybody else is cold. I'm still playing him one-on-one.
That's what Milwaukee did. That's what Milwaukee did, and they got into trouble. He dropped 56. I agree with you. I wouldn't start with a double team. You got to play it by ear. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much it. Like, in addition to what everybody else said. I mean, we you know, if the coaching staff's watching the show, they're gonna know what to do, man. We're gonna win tomorrow.
Steph, if that comes to play, then we're gonna have to hit Jimmy.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
He needs to be on that list too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think what I would like Tibbs to do is stay flexible. Stay flexible, and don't go down with a few tools in your tool bag. Like, bring it all out. You know, whatever you have to do. If you got to go down the bench and pull out a fossil, that's what you got to do. I mean, don't, we lose the game like, oh man, we didn't try this, we didn't try that, we didn't try this. No, stay flexible with your rotation. Stay flexible with, your schemes. Stay flexible. Stay in the moment. What is it? What are they asking for me? What is this game asking from me right now? That's what I need from Tibbs tomorrow night. There was some time. I don't want to keep going back to Atlanta, but there was times in Atlanta where I was like, yo, we didn't try this. We didn't try that. We didn't try this. So I just want him to be flexible. But as far as the team, we got to show up. Bottom line, we got to show up. They're gonna probably have a barrage. They're gonna come with a lot of energy, try to put the Knicks away early, and the Knicks have to be able to withstand that. And I think they will have to be able to withstand that. And you gotta hit shots. That's just the bottom line. The Knicks we can talk all of this other stuff we need to do. We gotta rebound. That's true. Not turn the ball over. All of that is true. But we gotta hit shots. When the Knicks hit shots, the 2 games we've won, we hit shots. Timely shots at that.
100%. I agree. I think they just need to. Yeah, I mean, you guys all said it. I'm just echoing the sentiments. I agree with everything that everybody said so far as what they need to. But hitting shots is huge. Like, I'd rather be in a position. Still scared about it, but I'd rather be in a position where we go basket for basket the whole game. I don't like being that close to them because that's when I worry about a guy like Jimmy, because Jimmy is a big shot maker. But I'd rather be in that position because Jalen Brunson is shown to, start to be becoming that big shot maker for us. So give us a chance to win the game. Don't get too far behind. And if we happen to get far behind, I agree with you, Steph. Tibbs needs to be flexible because if we go down 10, we saw how we could come back from that in game 5. But if we go down 20, not that we will, just saying, Tibbs got to go into the basket, come up with something, an Easter bunny or something, man. I don't know.
You might have to give Othello Harrington a uniform. You
might have to.
Don't leave anything on the table.
Not Othello.
You might have to come out. Listen, I know people are scared of him because of his defense, but the Frenchman, man, the European teams in the playoffs, he'd be doing some things. So saying.
Yeah, we might have to if it gets to that. I just want to do this one last thing before we get out of here. I do want to give congrats to Julius Randle for making third team All NBA. This is second time in his career. Both times, with the New York Knicks. Listen, we can say whatever we want to say about this playoff series and the Atlanta playoff series, and he's not whatever you want to say about the playoffs. In the regular season, he balled out and he was recognized. For that. So I definitely wanted to acknowledge it on this show. And
Wow.
yeah, if anybody wanted to,
salute to Julius Randle, man. He had a good season, man. He's
Yeah.
an all-star. Like,
Dope.
no matter
Dope.
how
I knew he
played
made
during
it, but
the
that's dope.
series, yeah, no matter how he played during the series or the playoffs, like he earned that. He deserved it.
Yeah.
All-star, all-NBA season.
Yeah.
He joins Carmelo Anthony as the only Knick this century to do it twice.
Right.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
And I think Julius Randle is still. I think he's his second time in the playoffs. I think he's trying to figure it out. How he performs. How is he going to perform in the playoffs? I think he's trying to figure it out and learn it. You know what I mean? And one of these times he's gonna have a monster playoffs. I think.
Start tomorrow, baby.
Hopefully,
I hope tomorrow's.
hopefully it
I hope
starts
tomorrow's the day.
Yes.
Yeah, if Jewish
The only thing.
Randle is Julius Randle tomorrow, and we getting what we need from the other players, the Knicks win.
Right.
Yeah.
If
The only thing that surprises me about this is I'm shocked. I don't know if this has ever happened before, but I haven't been paying attention. I don't care about this stuff, to be honest. Usually, I don't know if LeBron James has ever been All NBA third team before. This might be a first for him.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure he's usually on number 1 or number 2, but I don't think he's ever made. I don't know, but I'll check that out. I'm curious now.
but just the Knicks. When you look at it and you think about it, with Jalen Brunson and with Julius Randle, they were able to find guys that were on the threshold
Right.
of doing something big and bring them in on, good deals. And now you have Brunson, turning into almost a superstar, right? And you have Randle, making 2 all-star teams, 2 all-NBA teams. Fortunes are turning for the Knicks, man.
No doubt about it.
It's
Just
true.
turning.
They got
Doubt about it.
They got 2 guys that are entering their prime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the way RJ Barrett has played in this playoffs, is this has he turned the corner? And becoming the player that many of us thought he could become. I still need that 3-point shot though, RJ Barrett. Come on. I need you to do that for me. Because if you could get that, I don't even care if it's not even off the dribble. If it's just catch and shoot, 36%. I'm happy, RJ Barrett. I'm not asking for a lot. Catch and shoot, 36%.
He's going to be working on that over the summer, Queen. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
Well, I still, even though I see the benefit of it, I still wish over the offseason he would get into that mid-range bag. I really wish he would make that a part of his game.
Man, we need that tomorrow. Y'all talk about the offseason. The season is not over. You got to win that game tomorrow, man.
Amen.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Salute Julius Randle. Any last words before we get out of here?
I'd like to say one thing that I didn't really. I've been stewing on this Jalen Brunson performance, and I honestly think with what was at stake and how things went, I think that is the biggest game from a Knick guard since Clyde went 36-19 in the Willis Reed game.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Yeah, you got.
But when you think about the leverage of the game, like how important the game was, because there might be somebody who've had better stats, maybe.
Well, you got to think about it. Usually for the Knicks, what guard has done that?
Right. That's true.
Maybe other players.
I think Marbury may have done it, but in a regular season.
Not in the playoff game.
Yeah, not in the playoff. Not like this.
Latrell had a big game in the finals. I think we only scored 77 and he had like 30 8 or something like that, but we lost the game.
Yeah, we ain't counting that.
So I don't think you can count that. And I love Sprewell. I'm not trying to diss Sprewell, but I just want to put in context what we saw the other night. That was the second greatest guard performance in the last 50 some odd years.
In the playoffs.
Crazy.
From a 26-year-old, hadn't even hit his prime. And we got him on a descending contract. You tell me we're not in good situation.
Right.
That's a nice one, Jeff.
And not even with just the numbers, 48 minutes and 1 turnover.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
That is crazy.
That's bananas.
And he's a point guard. I mean, the ball is in his hand a lot.
And Miami made him work. Miami made him work every time down the court. And for me, I think it's a little more impressive because it was against a Spo coach team. Like when you think about, a coach that's going to game plan for a Randle or for a Brunson or what have you, he gets a lot of respect. And Brunson is doing it anyway, So kudos to him.
Hashtag Jarrell's point guard.
It's my point guard. Yep.
There you go. I was just gonna say that wish me safe travels. I'm starting my vacation as of tomorrow, so
safe travels. You going to Miami?
Thank you. No, I'll be going from my living room to my kitchen to my bedroom, back to the living room and the kitchen all week. So just wish me the best.
Don't hurt yourself.
I like them at home vacations too. Like ain't nothing wrong with those.
Staycation.
Yeah.
I got no choice in the matter, but I'm gonna make the best of it and enjoy it. But guess what? Knick fans out there, you're gonna see this is when I do that. This is when you see me showing love to every show. Damn, I'm sick of Ron. Why is he on everybody's show? This is the week.
That's what's up, man. Jarrell, Jeff, Ajay, Ron, of course, Sim, forever grateful. I appreciate you guys.
Wait, one last thing. Hit the like button on the way out. All right, we up there. We up there. We above us. Right. There's still a few people holding back. Listen, man. Hit it on the way out, and I hope Tony Brothers don't ref the game tomorrow. Right,
how far ahead do you know who's the ref? You got to wait till game time.
Yeah, you got to wait till game time, man.
I don't know. We might have to hit them.
Tony Brothers out on the West Coast, man. Keep him out there. Yo, Adam Silver, keep him out there, man. Keep him away from us.
Anyway, appreciate you. Shout out to the chat, everybody joining us today. Appreciate you. Until next time.
Right.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.